Hello BC, my name is David Newton and this is my entry into the DJ HighNoon contest. The contest was to pick 5 albums that have a common theme or thread, and then the second part of the challenge was to pick 3 song lyrics that have a special meaning or significance to you. For the album portion of the contest, I'm going to go with Dan Auerbach. Most of you know Dan Auerbach as the lead singer and guitarist for the Black Keys. This is the album that really kind of got me into the Black Keys. Came out in 2011 and has, the songs Goat on the Ceiling, Lonely Boy, Little Black Submarines. Just a really great album from start to finish, really. I really like the Black Keys sound. Dan has an affinity for using very old guitars, sometimes cheap plastic guitars, as well as some vintage amps and sound foot pedals. So I really like just kind of that vintage sound that Dan and Patrick, the drummer, kind of put out together. And this is a great album. If you don't have it in your collection, I highly recommend it. The second album is Dan Auerbach's second solo album. This came out in 2017, I believe. Yes, on his Easy Eye Sound label. My favorite track on this album is on side A. It's the last track, called King of a One Horse Town. The album overall it's really great. Again, Dan puts his stamp on it with his vintage sounds, and another one that's worth having in your collection. If you don't have it, just check it out. Alright, third is Yours Dreamily by the Arcs. This came out in 2015, I want to say. Yes. On None Such Records. This was Dan getting together with some friends and just kind of putting out an album. It's got some really catchy tunes on it, some really interesting arrangements. And my favorite track on this album is Put a Flower in Your Pocket. Other ones that I like a lot are Out of My Mind and Stay in My Corner. I think those were the 3 main singles that were released for this album, but the album, again, as a whole, is good from start to finish, so definitely worth the listen. Alright, the next 2 are albums that don't necessarily feature Dan as the lead singer, but he did produce these albums. The first one is Cage the Elephant, Tell Me I'm Pretty. This is a band out of Kentucky, where I live. They're from Bowling Green area. And Dan did produce this album for him. He does appear on one of the tracks. I think he's playing rhythm guitar, but he did also co-write it, and it's this track called Trouble. It's the first song on side B. This is my favorite album from the Cage the Elephant in their discography. They have recently put out a new one that I don't have yet, but I'm interested in picking it up soon. But from what I have heard, this is definitely one of their best albums, in my opinion. Alright, the last album is by an artist named Nikki Lane. It's called All or Nothing, and it came out in 2014. Dan, again, produced this album. He does appear with Nikki on a track called You Can't Talk to Me Like That. But this is more of a country album, I guess you would say, alt country. So if you're not really into country music, this may not be for you, but it's worth a listen if you haven't heard it. So yeah, check it out. Alright, on to the lyric challenge, and it really was a challenge. We were tasked with choosing 3 lyrics that have a significance or a special meaning And the first one for me is the Verve's "The Drugs Don't Work" from their Urban Hymns album. A little bit of a backstory before I reveal the lyric. My grandmother passed away from ovarian cancer in 1994. I was a senior in high school, and that was the first time that I lost someone close to me in my immediate family, so it kind of had a big impact on me. 3 years later, the Verve released Urban Hymns, and there was a track called "The Drugs Don't Work," and the lyric in the song is, "The drugs don't work, they just make you worse." And when I first heard that lyric, it just really kind of resonated with me and kind of just stirred up some old memories and feelings about my grandmother's battle with cancer. Because I remember thinking at the time, this chemo wasn't making her better, it's just killing her. I mean, she was always sick and very frail. And so just hearing that lyric, it just kind of stirred up some old memories. Alright, so the second lyric is from The Who, and it's from their track called "Substitute." I've got a friend a friend that was living at the time in Nebraska, and I was out there to visit him, and he was really getting heavily into The Who, and we were just kind of driving around, and he was playing some of their CDs on his car stereo, and I remember "Substitute" came on, and the line with "I was born with a plastic spoon in my mouth" came across the speakers, and I remember thinking, that's kind of a neat way to say I was born poor. That's really all I had to say about that. I just thought it was a clever way of kind of illustrating that he wasn't born wealthy and was born with a plastic spoon in his mouth. The last lyric I'm going to go with is something that's maybe a little more current. It's from Queens of the Stone Age, and it's from their album Like Clockwork. There's a track called "The Vampire Time and Memory" that I really like on that album, and there's a lyric in that song that says, "Who are you to me, and who am I supposed to be?" I don't really know why that is of any significance. I just thought it was a great lyric. It fit well with kind of the mood of the song, and it's just basically saying, I don't know you, and why should I care? I just thought it was kind of a cool lyric. That's really all I have for the contest. I want to thank DJ HighNoon for hosting the contest. I really am not in it to win it. This is really just an opportunity for me to share some of my record collection and to meet new people in the vinyl community. Beth S. from B-Side Records is one of the first people that I met on YouTube. We share a common interest of horror films, and we both subscribe to a channel, and the guy that owns the channel is really into The Crow, and I had left a comment on his video saying, hey, I know you're kind of new to the whole vinyl collecting, and that you really like The Crow, so just want you to be aware that in April on Record Store Day they are releasing The Crow on vinyl. If you want to check it out, you may want to look into it. And then Beth had commented on my comment, and from there it just kind of was downhill, I guess. I've met some really nice and cool people here in the vinyl community, and I'm just looking forward to seeing some of their submissions into this contest and just kind of meeting new people in general. So that's it for me. Again, my name is David Newton, and if you like what you see, I invite you to please subscribe to my channel. But until next time, thanks.